to discuss, please feel free to add it to the agenda or drop it into the text channel, or suggest it by voice if you feel like. We are going to start with a thematic question today, since I feel, at least in Europe, it's summer, so it's holidays. The icebreaker question for today is, what or where has been your favorite vacations, holidays that you can remember? And I will start, so I will give you some time to think. On my case, my favorite holidays, I think, were a few years back when I went to Iceland. I felt that was two ones. One in Lanzarote, which is Spanish Iceland, which I really enjoyed, and then Iceland. Both of them because were completely unexpected. I didn't know what I was going to find when I arrived at those places, and I felt those were mesmerizing places. So that was a very good, or the best holidays I can remember of. How about you, LVS? And welcome.
Hey, this is a tough one. I did a year of international travel in 2019, and I'm gonna say my favorite part was going to Scotland, and then we rented a car and we drove out to the Highlands for a fusion dancing event over the weekend. So even though we didn't know anybody and we'd never been to Scotland before, we had kind of like a built-in community of people who really shared our passion for dance. And it was really, really fun. And maybe I'll pass to Costa.
Thank you. I think my best holiday was like in Athens in winter. It was super calm, and being surrounded by like living history was like amazing to me. Like, just love art and like Greek history and monuments, and it was just amazing and beautiful. I'll pass it to you, Irene.
Okay. Irem or Irene?
I said Irene. Is that how Irene? How
No,
do you
mine
pronounce
is
your name?
Irene. See, it's
So
correct.
yeah. Okay, then you, Irene.
Okay, thank you. So I have some that I love, but I would say that there was this time when my kids were younger that we took the tent and the car and where do we want to go? We want to go in Mexico. We went to Michoacan or to Veracruz and then scouted and then said this beach is the best and then camped there for 15 days. So yeah, it was a good time. We did it several times and there was this place that we didn't expect and we were so joyful and laughing and the sea and it was beautiful. Yeah, thank you. I'll pass it to Irem.
Thank you. One of my favorites, it will be, I think 7, 8 years ago, one of my favorite family vacations in Austria, Kitzbühel. It just had amazing, ski places and a lot of like après skis and especially igloo bars. My first introduction to really fun igloo bars and in general, just a really, really fun family trip that I still remember. And we can't do them that much anymore because siblings just got separated going to schools in different countries and everything. So yeah. And I pass it to Gideon. Welcome.
Hi, thanks, Irem. So the question is, what were your favorite vacation holidays? Oh, that's easy for me. My wife and I, about 12 years ago, took our boys out of school for 5 months, and we went to like the Middle East and Eastern Europe and like just all over the place. And that was just such a great trip. Our boys were a little bit young; they were 8 and 10 at the time, but it was just so fun. It was such a great trip. I don't know who. So Eduardo, I'm going to pass back to you.
Thank you. Welcome, Marina. And we are using an icebreaker question to start the meeting of today. And the icebreaking question is, what is or where was your favorite vacations, holidays that you can remember? And I pass it to you.
Hi guys. Wow, favorite vacations. I think one of the favorite vacations was Portugal for me. I have visited a lot of time ago, but I never expect anything about this country. I just have no imagination enough, and I was really fascinated by nature and people. So yeah.
Thank you.
Should I pass this somebody?
No, everyone has gone. So thank you so
Okay.
much. All right, so we can start with today. I'm gonna say, and this is something that I hope is not inappropriate, but this is the first time I see so many women on a call in the TEC, and I'm so happy there is so many of you on a call. We don't usually have this view, so thank you so much for all of you who joined here today. Besides that, for today's meetings, which again I don't know how long it would be or how short it would be, but we will bring some updates from different things that has been going on in the past 2 weeks. We are gonna have these meetings bi-weekly until at least September. So next Monday there won't be a meeting. There will be a meeting the Monday afterwards. And today, Monday, we had a meeting with the folks of Otterspace. And they share sort of Otterspace for those who are not familiar with Otterspace. Otterspace, it's I will open the website. This one. Yes, it's this one. So Otterspace, it's basically a DApp, a Web3 tool that help people to create badges, which are basically NFTs. And you can sort of mint badges to anyone you want, and you can also set an expire date for that badge if you feel like. And Gideon and I today were sort of onboarded into the beta test of their DApp. And I want to have this quick moment to ask Gideon, what were your thoughts about it? What do you think about it? I mean, it's mostly what we have seen already. But any thoughts you feel like sharing with that?
No, I don't have a lot to share at this point because I haven't played with it yet. So hopefully over the next day or so I'll jump in. But I mean, seems like the people seem pretty I mean, I like the people. They seem pretty competent so far, anyways. But other than that, it's hard to say.
Yeah, so basically the process now is that Gideon and I will provide an Ethereum address, so they can airdrop this token that will give us access to the platform. And we are currently testing on Girlynet, which is a testnet, and then it will be deployed on Optimism, which is, I think, it's a nice touch to have it on Optimism. And after that, we will sort of see how we can start using it. And the idea is that we can integrate it with our Discord and so on. And I think Angela also has a meeting with them, or at least she was on the Discord. So looking forward to see how we can integrate this into our communities. And talking about tokens, Gideon, would you like to talk about the token gated efforts? Because I think I don't know in which state you are on that. Because mainly I saw that the new channel show up on my on my Discord. Would you like to provide some context to the folks here?
Yeah, it's live. Okay, so just the background on this is that this is a test for us of what it would be like to token gate a few channels on the TEC Discord server. And we're testing this for a few reasons. One is we want to learn how to do token gating just operationally in a way that's with some skill. Probably even more important than that, though, definitely more important than that is culturally we want to figure out how to do this in a way that is a match with the TEC values and culture. So this experiment will run until the end of the year and then reassess. we met in the SoftGov group, and then I've kind of bounced this by the stewards and done some kind of informal advice process. And we are basically going to use this channel as a way to update. And actually, we went through the formal advice process on the forum too. So we've kind of like put this through all of the advice process steps. So that's good. What we'll actually do in this channel is use it as a way to update token holders about what's happening in the TEC. So the perspective will be really try to get inside the head of a token holder. Like, what would they really want to know? We'll assume that their time is limited and that they just want like some basic kind of short updates on what's happening in the TEC. You know, somebody who holds the token, what matters to them. So what will go in here in the beginning is going to be some financial updates, some working group updates, some governance updates, like what's happened, what things are going through conviction voting right now. And that's pretty much about it. There is, Eduardo, if we have some time at the end, I'd like to do an update on what's happening with this work with Shahan from DAOstack on the token curation, or not token curation, the content curation, because that might be something that we add to this channel over time. Is like the results.
You can do the updates now if you feel like.
Okay. So just to wrap up the token gated channel before I go on to this, that is now live. We ended up using Guild XYZ as the tool. You can test it out. We're not actively promoting it right now because we want to test it. We want to get some feedback first, just make sure it's all, it's working all right for everybody. But the way that it's configured is it's just one TEC. That's all you have to have is one of the TEC tokens. So that's not a lot of money. And it's set up now. Risha is going to be the person who's going to be basically programming that channel, like the stuff that's going through. She's got her first edition of what's going to go in there that's pretty close to ready. She just needs, Bear and I are going to provide some feedback on it. And then that'll probably go live tomorrow or Wednesday. So that's exciting. So that's we're making some good progress on that. Before I talk about the content curation, are there any questions about the token gate?
I will say so. Maybe I got lost on translation, but right now, do you have a timeline on when this will be live and all this kind of stuff? Sorry if I make a question that you already answered.
Yeah, it's live now. The token gate is there. The new information that is like the first post will go tomorrow or Wednesday.
That exactly. And you are like supplying that, like you don't need any support with the content there. You're okay with that.
Well, Risha talked with Costa about it, and she's basically kind of taking the work that Costa is doing and just making it even short. Like, we're just trying to get something super short and something that's like really oriented towards the assumption that people don't know anything about what's going on here. So, it's just like the assumption is this is like somebody who doesn't spend a lot of time in the TEC. It needs to be like super digestible. So, I imagine over time, Costa, that Risha may end up working with you on some of that to like, ideally, Risha is not doing the writing of all this stuff. We're like getting working groups to actually supply the stuff on there, and so we're just kind of tuning the editorial voice, I guess. To be like a token holder. Like, what do token holders really care about, and like how much information do they really want? If that makes sense.
And besides these updates from the working groups, is there any other incoming sort of content that you put there?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So it'll be it'll basically be the updates from the Dune dashboard. So our finances, there'll be some updates that Risha will be putting in there. So it's kind of like an extension of transparency. The audit will go in there, and then if there are significant updates to strategy or things like that, then that would go in. Like the TC strategies or things like that. That'll go in there too.
And maybe you have thought about this. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's more a public place. But have you thought about connecting it with the gardens, so the Token Gated channel also have the feed from the gardens when a new proposal is up, so it just automatically gets posted there?
We have not thought about that, but I think that would be pretty interesting. Definitely open to that. I think right now this is just V1, so we're just basically trying to get it up and running. But my hope is that once it's up there, people will go, "Oh, wait, why don't we have this in there?" Right? This is not gonna be a place for conversation. This is really gonna be more of a publishing channel, and we may set up another channel. Actually, we probably will set up some other channels within that group. There's basically a category that is set up now that's called TEC token holders in Discord.
Right.
Yeah. Anybody else have questions? Or Eduardo, do you have anything else?
I will give space for someone else to ask, and then I will close it up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. If no one has any question regarding the token gated, the question from the governance gardens comes from this basically triangle in my mind that every time we have an initiative, I try to run it through if it is possible to incorporate the other layers into that initiative. So if it doesn't matter what kind of initiative it is, if it has a cultural, economic, or a governance layer on it, if it can, have it included. So that's where my chain of thoughts came from.
Yeah. And to answer that, so we are doing like a manual update, like every 2 weeks. So Risha's talked with Livia about it. And if we could do an automated one, then that would be cool. We just want to make sure that it's not triggering a bunch of noise. So do you want me to talk about the content curation thing? Okay, so super exciting. Actually, of all the things that are going on in the TEC right now, the one that I'm most excited about right now is this content curation thing. So basically, DAOstack is building some technology that will allow people to come into Discord, post links, or just, it could just be a post with no links, and then have people use emojis to react to that post. And then, so that's one piece. And then there's like a thing in the middle, which is like a curation rule setting app. And so that app can do things like, if it's 3, thumbs up or 3 fires or whatever it is, right? Or more, then pass it through to the output, right? It could be if somebody with this role gives it a thumbs up, then pass it to this stream. And so basically what you have Discord as a curation engine, like it's the place where a lot of people can come in and react with posts. You've got a rule setting interface, and then you've got an output device, and an output app basically, or database. And that can then do things like it can send out tweets. So we can use Airtable. That's what we're thinking right now, is that we just keep this very simple. One is that we're talking, Irem and I are talking with Acid Laser about this idea of basically using this as a way to boost our tweets and get some really interesting tweets going. And the reason I was a little bit late is I was talking to the DAOstack folks just now. We're talking about like ways of making sure that we get the Twitter handle of the person who posted it so that we can thank them, give them recognition, and try to kind of like get some viral things going on Twitter, right? So super excited about that use case, which is comms. You basically helping comms to get our tweets to be really interesting, like community curated tweets, but also to do a better job of networking so that we're mentioning people and we're bringing them in and getting them excited about retweeting. So that's one use case. The other use case is related, but it would be basically like a greatest hits of the TEC channel, which would be token gated. So this would be another channel within the TEC token holders category that would be basically curated by Irem and maybe Risha working together. And this would be basically kind of like the best stuff that the community has pulled together. We'll use these curation rules to basically get an automated feed that just goes right into that channel. And so anybody can come in and just look at all of the tweets, all of the posts in Discord. That's not going to be token gated because we want everybody to be able to participate in that, I think, at least initially. But if you want to see the greatest hits, this is one of the values of holding at least one TEC token, is that which means you've basically gone through praise, you've gotten some praise, or you went through the work of actually buying TEC yourself. So that would be the second use case, is that we would have a channel that would be like the greatest hits of posts. And then the third use case is basically making this tool available to any working group so that they can run it on their channel. So I talked with Omega last week, I think. The days are blurring, but and they were super excited about it. Like this could really help them with the Consilience library. It's like it becomes a way for them to be able to much more easily curate content. And so we would this is like a secondary use case. The primary one is the comms one, but the secondary one would be working with working groups, and it seems like Omega is probably the best one to work with to test this out. But we would make it open to anybody to use, any working group to use. But that would allow the working group to be able to kind of tune the curation to the way that they want it, and then they would be able to have their own feed as well of greatest hits. I'll stop there. Probably a lot of info.
Does anyone have any question regarding this tool, or anything else regarding what we just spoke? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Something else you would like to add, Kevin?
No, just that I think it's super exciting. Actually, this will be, I think, one of the things that I'm starting to think about is, I think that there's actually a difference. I mean, this is still pretty raw. Like, this is just some new thinking. But like, if you look at the working groups, there's some working groups that are much more social. Like, they're really more about like people gathering around and wanting to talk and exchange ideas. And then there are other ones that are like much more focused on actually delivering services and things like that. And I'm starting to think of like that first category as more like an interest group. So Omega is kind of like that, but SoftGov is kind of like that, I think, a little bit. It's like people come there and they are interested in a particular topic, and that this could be like the first service that we would provide to all of these interest groups, all of these working groups that are really geared towards like creating community, right? Little subcategories of shared interests. So I'm really excited about this as kind of like a working example of what that tool set might look like over time. These are like the shelling point services, like how we actually create little shelling points, not just the TEC, but down to like these smaller units.
I think it's also like I would like to have more circumstances like the one we have with Shaw, which is basically paying attention to people who join the server and paying attention to him, which is just like, we gave him a one-on-one and follow up into this. So I think this is he is one of these good examples of when the things are follow up or done or pay attention to. And and I would love to have more people like him. I mean, most of you guys are also part of this too. So I don't know. It's really nice to see this evolve into an actual process and a result. Anyways, talking about contributors. So if you all go to the Communitas text channel, there is a Google Doc that was shared by Innovator. I will share the link here in the chat just in case folks can access. Here. So if you can do this, not necessarily now, but at some point, this is for Bankless DAO, and it seems like a very easy to fill survey, which is basically to provide some sentiment for contributors and how they feel and so on. And the context of this is provided by Innovator Peter on the same text message a little bit above. So we decided to run it like as a test first within the Communitas working group. So if the folks here who are present, who are contributors mostly to the DC, would love to have your input on this survey. If you feel like doing it, of course, it's not an obligation by no means. But yeah, so we can support innovators. Innovator, it's a very active member for the past, I think, almost a year. He joined looking for educational spaces about engineering, and he became really active on Gravity. And now it's part of Aragon and a bunch of places too. So I don't know. I feel like I just want to sort of value the work that he's providing, and this doesn't take more than 5 minutes. So if you can help with this, it will be highly appreciated. Does anyone have any question regarding this form and research? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Next, Costa, do we have any spreadsheet updates that you would like to share with people?
What do you mean by updates? Like it's just going as usual. I'm just updating like the new members that are coming into the Communitas spreadsheet.
I meant if there is someone interesting, someone that needs to be reached out personally, anything relevant from the contributors.
I think 3 of them might be interesting. Like one user called Vikrant. He said he came recommended by someone called Andre from DeepWork. Then someone came from Diffusion DevCon in Berlin from 2019. So 3 years later, he came to us. And Tandarajo, another user that came to us from Cello Network. I think these are the 3 most interesting ones that came to us this week.
Can you drop their usernames in the Communitas, and then we can sort of later on welcome them in one way or another.
Yeah, okay.
All right, thank you. The next thing, Gideon, which is related a little bit to the token gated efforts, we talked about this on the Stewards, I think, which is this idea that and this is a bouncing sounding board. So anyone who feels strongly or disagree with this, it's more than welcome. But one of the things that we talked on the Stewards last week was the fact that the forum is not very used for discussion, for active discussion. It's more about like right now the forum feels more like a space that you just have to use for proposals or for sharing things, but doesn't get much of a feedback. So we thought about, or I proposed the idea of having a Discord dedicated channel for advice process, so we can get feedback from people here on the go, so it can be easier. And then we will still use, of course, the forum for advice process, but just to engage people on proposals and so on, we thought about create a governance sort of advice process channel. What do you think about that? Does anyone feels interested in this, or think it may not work? Whatever thought you may want to share.
Well, I have something, but I'm going to wait, see if anybody else has anything.
I have a question. Right now, the advice process, it just works. I mean, not through any particular channel, but kind of like listing possible experts on the topic, and then kind of the steward of the initiative or a few people, particularly leading the initiative, reach out to those people, and then how does the community get informed about the advice process, or does it also happen on Gardens, or sorry, our the forum?
So the idea originally is that the public part of advice process happens on the forum. So you receive feedback. You do this advice process with the peers that you work with or the people affected, and so on. But then the public part, which is receiving feedback from the community, understanding what people think about that idea or can improve it and so on, happens on the forum. The thing is that that last part is not being accomplished. The interactive engagement part is not happening. So the suggestion was made to, okay, let's find a way to engage folks on governance that has nothing to do with voting. This is not about voting. This is just about advice process and making people more aware that advice process exists, and welcome people to share like comments, because the forum can be intimidating in the sense of you see this long text post and you're like, oh, I don't have enough information to comment on this. But maybe just having a small, hey, I approve, hey, I like this, very simple or more complex responses on a more informal space like Discord could improve this engage letter. Does that answer your question, Nirem?
Yes, definitely. And I agree. I mean, even like asking some simple questions and even getting answered, more fast and efficient, I think it would be great for that, for those kind of like small questions and comments, particular. Yeah.
LBS is sharing their comment on this, and they say expanding the understanding of advice process will be amazing. I think that having a channel to do some of that work could help with actually going through the advice process. And answering your question, LBS, yes, Discourse forum are not being used very much. I think it's a sort of a commodity practice across the DAOs of just sharing for transparency matters, the governance proposals, and so on forums. But I have seen very few Discourse forums that are actually engaging. ENS is one of them. PancakeSwap is one of them. Some gaming Discord forums are also very active. But in general, there was this tweet a few days ago about voting apathy and all in general the governance apathy, and explain, for example, how protocols like Aave, which is a huge protocol, a lot of active users only have 1% of engage on their governance layer, which is, for a huge protocol, that's quite nothing. So, I mean, we are trying to experiment in different ways to find dynamization here. SourceCredit used its forum a lot, but it wasn't super organized. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like sometimes forums are this dark hole, black hole, where no one knows how it works. No one knows if they are able to vote or talk or not. So I get you, LBS. Get it.
Two things that are related. So yeah, I could definitely see this fitting in with the token holder category. Like it makes sense. Like the people who would be engaging on like the governance side of it, for sure, like would be holding tokens, right? So like it's a natural place. I think that we could get a lot better about this is kind of building on what Nirem was saying. I think we could get a lot better about the lead up to the public advice process. So for instance, I can sample one of the things I'm trying to do now is when we have new projects like this curation thing, we have a planning document, and in the planning document, I have like little check boxes of the people who we're engaging in the advice process. And I think that should be public record, right? It's like who actually was involved in the proposal before it got to the public advice process, because that's important to know. So I think that would be good too, to kind of like update the way that we format on the forum, so that we are completely transparent about all the way, the advice process that led up to it. And then the last thing I just wanted to note is that this curation tool, it could actually be used for this. I don't want to overload our first release on this, but the DAO Stack folks are definitely thinking about this. Like, you could imagine, people doing just very quick advice process in a governance channel or a decision-making channel, where people could say like, it's a lot of information. Take your time. Yeah, so it would be like, if I'm trying to get, like, let's say I'm in a working group like Sampo, and I, want to just get some quick feedback from the community more broadly, to be able to post into a channel like that and get just some informal, very quick advice process before we actually put together a formal proposal would be, I think, very powerful. And we can also highlight it. Yeah, sorry. And then we can also highlight the actual course.
Yeah, I think we need a gateway for people to our governance, our discourse at least, because we still don't have that. Even if the information is placed and even if the information is there, it's not accessible, so it's not transparent really. So onboarding, indeed. I say that on an onboarding call, but no one listened to me as usual. So that's on them, not on me. I'm kidding. All right. So the next topic of the agenda, and which is just an update, just to check, LVS if you are up for. Remember what we talked about, having this small workshop of hand signs or nonverbal communication. If you are willing to maybe not next Monday, but the one afterwards, take 20 minutes of the next Communitas call to do this small workshop, and we can invite other members of the community, and the ground will be for yours to foster this if you feel like. Let me know.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. Just to check in, the intention is just to share like some of those hand signals and why they're useful.
Yeah, I think that for calls like, for example, community call or onboarding, not onboarding call because they are new, but like a steward's call and all these calls where some decision making is taken, and sometimes there is a dead silence and we have the camera on. It could be nice to have this very simple, five hands movements that we can record to, and that people can very easy to understand and recur to, and make it more of a cultural practice here for expressing either consentment, dissentment, agreeing, or whatever else it's on the spectrum of those handshakes. All right, so I will put it here. I don't remember which is the date of that Monday. That would be Monday the 22. All right. All right. Is there something else someone here would like to add to the agenda or ask or comment before we close up 20 minutes earlier? I will come down and you can unmute and just express whatever you want to say. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So with your consent, I will take a screenshot of this call just because I want to celebrate the amount of women that there is on this call. Oh yes, I will do it again. Don't worry, smile. Oh yeah, someone is coming. Wait for her camera on.
It's taking a while. Sorry. Give me 15 more seconds. If it doesn't work, then it's fine.
There you go. All right, Adam. You will seem to not be.
It's okay. It's fine.
1, 2, 3. All right. There you go. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining today's call, and I look forward to see you on next Monday. Not this one, the one afterwards. Take care, and thank you so much for joining. Have a nice day.
Thanks, Eduardo.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.